Hi guys, so some of you may know that I'm doing an audiobook challenge this month, and I'm putting the books that I'm been talking about and the books that I've been listening to, I've been putting them all on my Facebook page, Marianne Hanson Counsellor and Coach, my other Facebook page, Marianne Hanson Confidence Coach, and I've also been putting them on my Instagram pages. So one of the things I'm going to be doing at the end of my 30 days of listening to audiobooks, I am going to be doing a book review of my top 5 books, but I just thought I can't wait for this one because this is a book that I listened to yesterday, and it is called Ikigai, which is a Japanese word spelled I-K-I-G-A-I, and it's talking about how the Japanese incorporate living in a happy and fulfilling way. And so all I'm going to do, because could be a really long video and I don't want it to be, I'm just going to focus on a few of the things from the book. The first thing they talked about was this idea of finding your purpose, knowing what it is why you get up in the morning, so having motivation. And this isn't a new concept. Lots of motivational speakers talk about this, having a why, having a purpose, being motivated. But what they focus on is that in some of these communities within these Japanese villages, they make it a way of life. So an example was given of a lady who was 98 years old, and her goal was to live to be over 100. And she incorporated lots of things into her life. Now, this is someone who is obviously retired, at the age of 98, but they still had a purpose in life. They still got up early. They would take walks to the beach. They would interact with the rest of their community. They would find activities to do. So an example is they would go with friends and meet for coffee. So they still had a purpose for living. The other things in the book talk about the different lifestyles and routines that these Japanese were incorporating, and that included a simple, clean living where everything they eat, is healthy, getting plenty of rest, getting plenty of exercise. Some of the other things were around flow, and this is another concept that I've talked about, and this is in terms of when you are working on something, you focus on that one thing and you put all of your energy, all of your time, everything into it. So in the Western societies, we have this thing where we look at how much we can do, how fast we can do it, can you multitask, and there's this key thing where people are saying, can't you do 2 or 3 things at the same time? Within Japanese culture, that is like something that you shouldn't be doing. They talk about focusing on what you are doing at that time, because first of all, you'll become more of an expert at it. Second of all, it means you are putting your time and energy into it. So it gives some examples of people who are working in factories, the Toyota factory. They were putting together certain metal materials, and they were doing it in such a precise way, but they were doing it very quickly, but they knew what they were doing. And the people that were filming were saying that they couldn't keep track. And similarly, they went to see someone in a fish factory and they were chopping the vegetables and the fish so quickly, the focus was like precise, and they were saying they couldn't even keep up, but that person was fully engaged with the activity. And this is what they're encouraging people to consider. Don't always be trying to do lots of different things at once. Don't be focused on lots of other things that are happening. Focus on the activity and be in a state of flow. Other things they were talking about is learning to be in solitude, not being fearful of solitude. And another thing, the final thing I'm going to focus on from this book, is this idea that you shouldn't avoid certain emotions. Don't avoid pain and suffering. It doesn't mean that you invite pain and suffering into your life, but don't avoid it. So we live in Western culture. There's a thing where, if something bad is happening, then people will normally say, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. Or they'll avoid it, or people will say, I avoid conflict, I avoid confrontation. In Japanese culture, what they're saying is, if you want to live a happier life, you embrace and you work through those things. And that is something, as a counsellor, I really resonated with, because if something is bothering you, or you've been through something traumatic, or something is affecting you, avoiding it or sweeping it under the carpet only means that you're making it more powerful. It's going to come out in different ways. So what they're saying is, don't avoid, you find a way of working through it, talk about it, feel the emotion, express that you are hurt by something, and then it gives it less power. So I think they're the main concepts. There's lots of things within the book. It's an audio book called Ikigai, and it is about the Japanese tips on healthy and happy living. You can find it as an audiobook. I got it on YouTube. So most of the audiobooks that I'm listening to this month are either free audiobooks from YouTube, or there's some that I've actually purchased myself. And yeah, I will be doing the book review of my top 5 books that I've listened to this month. But you can also go to my Facebook page, Marianne Hanson Counsellor and Coach, or my Instagram page of the same name, and you can see each individual title that I'll be posting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks.